Pastor Vance with the daily devotional for February 27th. And our readings are done for the month. You've had a couple of days here to catch up. And I haven't given you many of these devotionals this week. I'm still on the road to recovery here. But I was thinking about the last psalm we read this month, Psalm 47. And just wanted to... So we read the news this week. And we see nation invade nation, and we see war begin to break out. And this psalm gives us both hope and points us to whom we should trust in. It's Psalm 47 was the last psalm that we read, and it says in verse 2, "The Lord Most High is awesome. He is the great King of all the earth. He subdues nations before us, putting our enemies beneath our feet." Goes on to say in verse 9, "The rulers of the earth have gathered together with the people of God of Abraham, for all the kings of the earth belong to God." And sometimes we have to remember that perspective as we see evil men triumph, as we see evil men destroy life, as we see evil men rip apart nations, that whether they recognize it or not, whether they know it or not, all the kings of this earth, all the dictators, all the presidents, all the leaders, truly fall under submission to the real king. That doesn't change the evil that they are able to bring upon us. It doesn't change the tragedy. But we have a king who does not bring war, but brings peace. We have a king who doesn't forcefully subdue people, but invites all into his kingdom. We have a king who does not define his kingdom based upon territorial lines or geography, because he reigns over all of the earth. And so as we look and as we start to question who should do what in the face of the evil that is being brought upon the nation of Ukraine, who should fight, who should bring peace, we, as a part of the kingdom of God, should be turning to and trusting in the King of all the earth. Should be reaching out to the one who is over all of these kings, and trust that his peace will triumph over all the wars of this world. May you in your lives pursue that peace today. Because there are people in your life. Because while we can look at what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, we have to be honest and look at our lives, that there are people in our lives that we are like Russia and Ukraine. We are in the midst of this struggle and this war and territorial fights. And we are to be pursuing peace, not trying to gain more of what is not ours, not trying to gain a footing that we want, not trying to advance our own interests, but seeking to establish peace in a relationship where there is none and never has been. We ask ourselves, as we look to them and the evil, who are we invading? Who are we hurting in that same way? Let us not condemn those in other parts of the world who bring these atrocities on innocent people, while we continue with what we do in our lives, how we view others, how we treat others, how we establish laws to hurt others. We bring the same atrocities on them in their hearts. Not in the same way, not with the same effect, but not pursuing peace nonetheless. We see in our nation how we are constantly at a war of words. And it's not all that different from what's going on in Europe. It's just not bullets that are flying. It's not missiles that are being launched. It's time for us, in the face of war, to pursue peace with one another and pray that the King of all the earth would subdue all of us at his feet and remind all of us who truly is the Lord of all.